The moment she looked into his eyes, she realized something was terribly wrong. The tears she had been hiding for weeks finally escaped, but this time they weren't caused by anger or disappointment. They came from the terrifying feeling that the person who had carried her through life's darkest storms was quietly preparing to disappear forever. Sometimes life doesn't break our hearts with loud explosions. Sometimes it whispers its cruelest truths while we are too distracted to notice. This is the unforgettable story of love, sacrifice, forgiveness, and the incredible power of kindness that can heal even the deepest wounds. Before we begin, if you believe kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that touch hearts around the world. Emma had always believed that strong people never cried. Growing up on a quiet farm surrounded by endless green fields, she watched her parents work from sunrise until long after sunset. Hard work was expected. Complaining was considered weakness. When life became difficult, they simply kept moving forward. That lesson stayed with her throughout adulthood, even when carrying invisible pain became heavier than carrying any physical burden. When she met Daniel, life suddenly seemed brighter. He wasn't wealthy or famous, but he possessed something far more valuable. He had an extraordinary gift for making broken people feel seen. Friends often joked that Daniel could find hope inside the darkest room. His quiet kindness became the foundation of their marriage. Whenever Emma doubted herself, Daniel reminded her that storms never lasted forever. Years passed peacefully until unexpected tragedy arrived without warning. Emma lost her job during an economic downturn that left hundreds unemployed. Bills began piling up. Their savings slowly disappeared. Every morning Emma searched for work with growing desperation, only to receive polite rejection after polite rejection. The confidence that once defined her slowly crumbled into anxiety. Daniel never blamed her. Instead, he quietly picked up extra shifts wherever he could find them. He repaired fences for neighbors, worked overnight deliveries, cleaned warehouses during weekends, and still managed to come home smiling. Emma often wondered where he found the strength to keep going when exhaustion was clearly written across his face. Despite his efforts, financial pressure continued tightening around them like an invisible rope. Their small farmhouse required expensive repairs after severe storms damaged the roof. Medical bills from Emma's mother's illness added another impossible burden. Every envelope arriving in the mailbox carried another reminder that life wasn't becoming easier. Emma blamed herself for everything. She stopped laughing. She avoided friends because she felt ashamed. Nights became endless as worry stole every hour of sleep. Daniel noticed every silent tear she wiped away before breakfast, yet he never pushed her to explain. He simply held her hand a little longer each morning before leaving for work. Then something changed. Daniel became quieter than usual. He started disappearing for several hours without explanation. Sometimes he returned home covered in dust, offering only a tired smile whenever Emma asked where he had been. Fear slowly replaced confusion. Had he found another family? Was he hiding debt? Had he simply grown tired of carrying someone who believed she had become a burden? The distance between them became unbearable. Emma's imagination filled every unanswered question with painful possibilities. She convinced herself that the man who had once promised never to leave was preparing to walk away forever. One warm afternoon she finally followed him. Her heart pounded as she watched Daniel drive toward an abandoned piece of farmland outside town. She expected betrayal. Instead, she witnessed something she never could have imagined. Daniel stepped out carrying bags filled with groceries, blankets, and medicine. Waiting beneath an old wooden shelter were several struggling families who had quietly lost everything after recent floods destroyed nearby homes. Elderly couples, exhausted parents, frightened children, all welcomed him with grateful smiles. Emma stood frozen behind a tree as she realized the truth. The hours Daniel had disappeared weren't spent escaping from his family. They were spent helping strangers survive. While carrying impossible responsibilities at home, he had somehow found room in his heart to carry the pain of others too. She watched him repair broken furniture, distribute food, comfort crying children, and quietly hand envelopes of cash to people who desperately needed hope. No cameras followed him. No applause celebrated his generosity. Nobody except those families even knew his name. Emma suddenly understood why their savings had disappeared faster than expected. Daniel hadn't been wasting money. He had been giving away pieces of their comfort so other families wouldn't lose everything. The guilt struck harder than anything she had ever experienced. She had mistaken kindness for distance. She had confused sacrifice with secrecy. She had believed the worst about the person who had never stopped believing in her. That evening Daniel finally admitted the truth. Several months earlier he had received difficult medical news. Doctors discovered a serious heart condition that required treatment he couldn't yet afford. Rather than burden Emma while she struggled with unemployment and her mother's illness, he decided to quietly continue helping others until he no longer could. He wanted every remaining day of his life to matter. Emma felt her entire world collapse. The man she feared was leaving emotionally had actually been preparing for the possibility that time itself might take him away. Instead of wasting his remaining strength feeling sorry for himself, Daniel chose compassion. His example transformed Emma forever. The next morning she refused to let him carry every burden alone. Together they reached out to neighbors, local businesses, churches, and volunteers. What began as one man's quiet acts of kindness quickly became an entire community united by generosity. Donations poured in. Skilled workers repaired damaged homes. Doctors volunteered medical assistance. Farmers shared harvests. Hope spread from one family to another like sunlight breaking through heavy clouds. Daniel's greatest gift was never the money he gave away. It was proving that one compassionate heart could inspire hundreds more. If this story has touched your heart so far, please write in the comments, kindness always comes back. We'd love to know where you're watching from. Months later, Emma found steady work again. Their financial situation slowly recovered, and with the support of countless grateful people, Daniel finally received the medical treatment he desperately needed. Recovery wasn't easy, but he faced every challenge with the same quiet courage that had inspired an entire town. Emma often thought back to that afternoon when she believed everything was ending. Looking back, she realized it wasn't the end at all. It was the beginning of a completely different life built not on comfort or wealth, but on compassion, faith, and the understanding that true strength is measured by how much hope we give others during our own hardest moments. If this story moved you, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps these inspiring stories reach people who may need a reminder that kindness still exists in this world. Sometimes the greatest miracle isn't finding someone who never struggles. It's finding someone who chooses kindness even while carrying struggles nobody else can see. And those are the people who quietly change the world forever.